Fat Guy Ponytail checking in. One of the worst looks a human being can possibly adopt, by the way, in case there's any Fat Guy Ponytails out there. It's atrocious. The Fat Guy Ponytail walking around, presumably a GameStop, doesn't get pussy. That's how I'm starting this video. Just, I don't I'm in a funny mood today. I watched, I'm off today, so I have no excuse for this video to be a piece of shit, which it will be. Pollo, one of the great OG viewer, Pollo, which is Spanish for chicken. I don't know what that accent was, so let's pretend I didn't do that. He made the note that I was making these videos out of spite, which is correct, actually. But the spite will end. Eventually, I'll go back to making, normal good ones, but, clearly now's not the time, all right? Why was I talking about that? I'm in a funny mood today. I watched 6 episodes of the HBO show Rome consecutively, which for me is a lot. I don't really watch TV or movies, really. I should, but I never do, ever. But every once in a while, especially if my wife is gone, I notice I never watch anything if my wife is home. I don't know why. It's not like she would get in the way. It's just something I don't do. I associate watching movies with like being alone in my bedroom as a kid. So I feel like I only ever do it when I'm alone. Anyway, I watched like 6 episodes of Rome, which is a phenomenal show. I recommend it to anybody. And I'm in a funky mood today. Am I out of focus, or is this just what I look like in real life? I don't have defined edges. You can see the road symbol. Actually, it's not that well in focus. It's hard to gauge with a manual lens like this. This thing is not meant to be doing what I'm doing. I hope you're having a good day. It's day 95 or 4 or some shit. Nobody cares. Shut up. And yeah, you don't want to be a fat guy with a ponytail, especially one with like a head wound. You see that? Look at that. You see the head wound? I was cleaning my bedroom. It's really my wife's bedroom. I don't really like... When you get married, and I know this is like an Everybody Loves Raymond prototypical hetero life situation I'm in, but here's the reality. So are 90% of relationships. I know you don't hear about it on TV all fucking day, but most people are in hetero relationships and they end up like this. I was cleaning the bedroom, which really ends up being your wife's room because the average man just doesn't give a shit about what their bedroom looks like when they're not children. That's, clearly very, I'm making generalizations that could be construed as sexist. I would advise you, if that's the way that kind of thing makes you feel, to observe your own intellect and question whether or not you have the judgment to make grandiose claims like calling someone sexist. Generally, as a rule of thumb, stereotypes are correct for good reason. They're census. They're basically a consensus form of, generalizing and understanding your environment. You can't understand everyone to like an absolute degree, so you use generalizations, stereotypes in order to orient yourself to an otherwise overwhelmingly complex and overbearing world. So that being said, women generally care more about what their bedroom looks like. Anyway, I was cleaning the bedroom and I opened a drawer, leaned down to clean something, and then leaned back up. I'd opened the drawer up here, and then I leaned down and then picked my head up and slammed my head into the corner of the drawer. So that's why I usually don't clean the bedroom, because I'm liable to do something like that. What are we, 3 minutes in? I've said a lot of good stuff in this one already, right? This is a banger. That's all I've got, man. I'm struggling. I'm not struggling. I'm struggling with I'm between worlds. I'm in a liminal space, as the kids like to say. I think someone on Reddit found out about the term liminal, and it entered the lexicon of like people making observations about things. It's a moronic thing to say, a liminal space. They're like, the mall I grew up in is so empty now. Look at this picture. It's a liminal space. Shut the fuck up. I advise in general not to use terms like that unless you use your brain for something other than serving tables or teaching kids, another equally useless job. I'm a foul little bastard today, huh? I love you all and I respect every occupation and every person, man, woman, whatever it is. I'm in an in-between zone. My wife is home in 2 weeks. I didn't get 85% of the things done I thought I would get done while she was gone. I blame all that on almost killing my cat and not being, intellectually, mentally, spiritually, emotionally equipped to deal with the pressure of almost killing my cat. If I had almost killed a person with my car, I would have felt nothing. Nothing. I don't know, well, they didn't die, and even if so, as long as I get away. That's how I would have felt. You're welcome to take that and translate it in your brain any way you want. I suspect the average person feels this way. It is an obnoxious thing people do where they go, I feel more empathy for animals than people. That's not empathy. That's not what you're describing. Generally, the reason you feel more affection or more of an immediate emotional response to an animal being hurt as opposed to a person is A, you on an unconscious level are aware of the fact of the purity of a beast. Animals don't, fuck over their kids in a divorce. That's not cats don't do that. More importantly, a part of intellect and is caring for things that cannot care for themselves. A human being by rights can care for themselves. Also, it's difficult for you to care at the same level in the same way for something that is in effect a reflection of you. A person is you. When you see a person, you're actually seeing yourself. You're capable of compartmentalizing animals into a special little place where you're allowed to put your heart, because otherwise you'd be exhausted all day. You'd Google what's going on in the world. Is anybody hurt today? And it'd be like, well, about a couple 100,000 people die every day. You go, you'd fucking lose your mind. That's why I came on here today, to chastise everybody. Look, all these videos suck, but I rock. This is the power of the fat ponytail. I just become an arrogant dickhead. Look, you can't be fat and have a ponytail. You look like a fucking asshole. But it's really hot today, and I don't want to get a haircut because I don't want to go. I'm not kidding. Legitimately, the only reason I haven't gotten a haircut in the past 3 months is because my barber, the lady who I see. I hesitated on lady, and I'm not going to get into why because I'll get myself into even more trouble. I hesitated. I can't go to them because they're very far away. And by very far away, I mean I have to Uber there because I live in a place in New York where New York is designed in such a way where if I drove to this part of Brooklyn, it would take me 19 minutes. But if I took a train, it would take me an hour and 10 minutes. Don't ask how it works that way. That's what happens when you build a city around a train system and not a train system around a city. You could figure out the math of how that works in your head on your own. That's why the trains are very effective in places like Asia. It's because the trains were built in modern times, whereas the subway tracks for New York were laid quite some time ago in relation to the metropolis around it. All right? You're learning today with me. This is what it's like. This is what it's like to be around me. I'm sitting in a room. I'm fat. I have a ponytail. It makes me want to fucking cut my own head off, okay? The issue of being a fat guy with a ponytail is everyone knows you like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and shit. That's just what it is. You're either a Yu-Gi-Oh guy or a Mall Ninja guy or whatever it is. Maybe they're the same guy. One way or another, when you see a fat white guy with a ponytail and a neck beard, which I unfortunately also have that, it's crazy how disgusting I'm. My dad the other day said to me, my dad doesn't talk to me that much. He went, "You used to be so cool." That's what he said to me. And I know what he was saying. He was going, where's the fashion? Where's the being hot? Where's the being interesting? It's all gone away. And I wanted to say, hey, Pops. Where were you between 1993 and 2015? Huh? Maybe I have questions for you. Neither here nor there. But the fat guy, shitty ponytail is not good. You don't want to be that. I made a video where I talked about being short and all that shit. I'm certain you're better off being short than being a fat guy with a ponytail, all right? Nothing, the ladies don't quite go for that, okay? And even the ladies that are very nice, and they're like, I like boys that are nice boys. First of all, let's get this right out of the way. In that video, I mentioned how I never had problems with ladies. I got bad news for you. It's not because I'm a nice person. It's never been a part of the equation. It's never been that. It's never been that. I'm not bad to people, on an individual level. I'm not a maniac. But, it's not because of the sweet nothings I whisper to the universe. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Whatever, dude. Shut up. I'm in a funny, funky mood today. This is kind of like me in a good mood. This is what it's like. I'm fucking insufferable. A buddy said to mine once, he said, "You have an insufferable stream of consciousness." And I was like, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have like 3 undiagnosed obsessive disorders, and then like a great deal of like extreme, like traumatic response to things that don't matter all around me. And then also like the backbone of me is like a severe, devout, ancient Roman, like, pray to deities slash, like a stoic that also believes in multiple gods. I'm a fucking disaster. This is how you become a fat guy with a ponytail. So you're either a fat guy ponytail like me. It's a reluctant ponytail. This is almost a ponytail of philosophy. It's a philosophical, it's an intellectual ponytail. It's a ponytail signifying wisdom that I've accumulated in my hair, quite like Samson. And then this is a rare breed of fat guy ponytail. I'm not going to lump myself in with the other guys. First of all, I'm not single, and I don't like talking to nerds, and I don't like talking to people in general. In fact, I would describe my ideal environment is full of people that the average viewer of mine may very well dislike. My ideal environment is like they're saying words that I'm not allowed to say, and they're very aggressive. And I go, oh, I'm kind of at home here, I get it. But I have to deal with intellectuals. Neither end of those actually are supported by nerds. Intellectuals don't have many nerds. They're intellectuals. There's a different kind of intellectual I'm talking about. The super nerds don't talk to anybody. You don't have to worry about those. It's the nerds in the middle, the Funko Pop, like actually, Bazinga nerds, that when I'm around them, I'm so sweatingly uncomfortable, I have to be intolerably cruel. Um, just make myself sound like a significant worse and worse person with each video I make. Dude, shut up. Whatever. Fuck off. All right? Look, I never claimed to be a saint. All right? I'm a fat guy with a ponytail. I got problems. This is like a military ponytail. Oh, it's like a Steven Seagal ponytail. You don't want to compare yourself to him, though. He had, like, sex slaves, I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm just going to wait till I hear, like, look at how fat I am, dude. What is this? Was this here 2 weeks ago? Yes. Yes. This was here 2 weeks ago. Fuck off. It's crazy how disgusting it is to be fat. I feel terribly for my wife. I have to lose the 80 pounds. Now, like 68 pounds or something. I have to lose it. 66, 67, 65? I have to lose the weight because I'm disgusting and my wife is definitely going to fucking leave me and cheat on me. I would do it. If she was 90 pounds overweight, I'd cheat. Alright, that's enough for today, guys. I gotta stop. There are times where the camera shouldn't be on and I shouldn't be allowed to speak. I love you all. Never forget 9/11 and never forget any other thing that ever happened. Goodbye.